Okay, you have to promise not to judge me. But girl, wait until you hear this. If you think your neighbor's pool parties are wild, just wait till I spill what happened when I almost bought a toxic photo lab in the swampy heart of Florida. No, seriously, this is some flopita level nonsense. I'm talking chemicals, secrets, nosy neighbors, and enough drama to make the real housewives look like Sunday school. So let's rewind to 3 months ago, because this story starts with a bad idea and gets messier from there. I was scrolling the MLS late one night, don't judge, it's my guilty pleasure, and up pops this listing. Unique commercial opportunity, former photo processing lab, 3,000 SQFT. It was cheap, like suspiciously cheap. You know how in Florida when something looks like a steal? It's either haunted, underwater, or hiding bodies in the crawl space. But hey, I'm an optimist or an idiot. So I called my realtor first thing the next morning. Samantha, I said, I found us a deal. She groaned. No more sinkhole houses or hurricane leftovers, she begged. But I had that look in my eye, the one that says I'm about to ignore every red flag because I smell a bargain. We drove over in her beat-up Kia because her last client's dog barfed in her Lexus. The place looked normal, not haunted at all, brick exterior. Old sign with faded letters, Photo Express. There was even a palm tree out front that hadn't died yet, a miracle in this heat. We walk up and immediately get hit with that weird chemical smell, that sweet trot of old developer fluid and maybe some sadness? I'm not even sure. My realtor makes a face like she just licked a battery. But I'm already inside, peeking around at the weird old machines and leftover film canisters. There are racks for prints bigger than my first apartment. One wall is covered in stains, brownish streaks running down behind where the sinks must have been. Samantha whispers, people still develop film? And I shrug because who cares? The price is so low that if there's only one ghost here, it's still a deal. But then, oh my god, this guy pops out of nowhere from behind the counter and scares us half to death. He's got on an ancient Kodak polo and he's holding a coffee mug that says best boss ever. He says his name is Gary and he ran the lab until last year when digital finally killed us. Gary tells me all about how they handled tens of thousands of roles, all these commercial clients, big weddings, you name it. He seems nostalgic until Samantha asks him about chemicals. He gets this twitchy look and says, oh, we used all kinds. D76s, C41s, lots of fixer and bleach. Samantha goes pale and starts Googling toxicity of old photo labs on her phone while pretending to check her email. But Gary insists it's all fine. We cleaned up real good when we left, he says, but won't meet my eyes. So now I'm torn between visions of opening a cute art studio, or at least flipping this dump for triple, and nightmares about environmental lawsuits. That night at home, I call my cousin Lee, who works in property management down in Miami. She knows everyone shady from Hialeah to Homestead. She laughs so hard she nearly chokes. Girl, you better check the groundwater before you even step foot in there again. She tells me stories about another photo lab that leaked so much fixer over the years that their neighbor's koi pond turned silver, literally silver fish floating belly up for weeks. She says remediation can cost more than the property itself if it's bad enough. But then she whispers, or maybe no one ever finds out, just paint over those stains and call it vintage. Tempting, but am I really going to risk cancer for a cheap mortgage? So next day I ask Samantha to help me find an environmental consultant. She rolls her eyes but sends me 3 names, all of them sound expensive as hell. I call the first guy, Doug, and he sounds like he's been inhaling solvents since 1985. He says he'll come by for $750 just to sniff around and take soil samples if he feels like it. That's almost half my monthly rent. But curiosity wins out. I need answers. Doug shows up 2 days later wearing cargo shorts and socks with sandals. He drags this battered metal case behind him like it's full of nuclear secrets. Inside are little bottles and vials. He looks at me over his glasses and says, you want to know how deep the rabbit hole goes? He pokes around for hours, checking drains, scraping up goop from under old tables, even collecting dust off an air vent that hasn't been cleaned since Clinton was president. Every time he finds something weird, he grunts just loud enough for me to panic. Huh, interesting. When he leaves, he promises a report in 5 business days, but not before muttering under his breath about silver halide nightmares and how nobody ever really gets rid of fixer stains. Great. Meanwhile, word spreads through my neighborhood group chat because someone, Samantha, posted a selfie outside the lab with the caption, guess what this crazy girl is thinking of buying? Now every nosy neighbor within 3 blocks has opinions. Is that where all those cop cars were last spring? I heard someone grew mushrooms in there during lockdown. My cousin swears she saw bats flying out after dark. Don't buy anything west of Main Street unless you want termites and ghosts. I laugh it off, but honestly, my stomach is churning harder than one of those old school developer tanks. 3 days later, the drama explodes. Doug calls me with panic in his voice. You need to come down here right now. I race over expecting hazmat suits or maybe an EPA van out front, but no, it's just Doug waving papers frantically. Look at these levels, silver nitrate through the roof. And check this, traces of mercury compounds near the back sinks. I freeze. Mercury? Like Mad Hatter levels? He nods grimly. If anyone ever poured fixer down those drains, and trust me, they did, you've probably got contamination under the slab. So now my cute art studio dream suddenly comes with bonus heavy metals poisoning. While Doug paces outside on a call with someone at his lab. Yes, yes, could be actionable, groundwater risk. Samantha tries comforting me by suggesting we negotiate the price lower, maybe even get paid to take it off their hands. But then Gary pops up again. He apparently lives nearby in an RV parked behind his cousin's house, and heard we were looking into things too closely for his liking. He corners us by the dumpster out back. Listen, he hisses. Nobody ever got sick here. We flushed everything down with bleach like we were supposed to. Samantha tries not to laugh, but Gary is dead serious. He even offers us 10-year-old packets of expired photo paper as a peace offering. I mean, what do you say to that? Word gets out fast. Next thing I know, there's gossip on Nextdoor. Some lady wants to turn the toxic photo shop into an Airbnb. She'll poison our dogs just like those fish. I bet she works for big developer trying to force us out. And then my phone blows up with texts from Lee. Don't you dare let them stick you with cleanup costs. And from Samantha, girl, if you walk away now, I'll buy you tacos forever. And but am I walking away? Not yet. Because here comes Mr. Evans, the self-appointed HOA tyrant from across Main Street, with some legalese printed off Google and a warning glint in his eye. And, you know, our deed restrictions don't allow hazardous businesses within 1 4 mile. And I stare him down. It hasn't been hazardous since Gary left, and he smirks. But if any environmental report turns up contamination, well, he shrugs like an alligator sunning itself after lunch, and eyes this man threatening me. Or just bored because his wife banned him from HOA meetings? And either way, it gets worse. And a week later, Doug delivers his full report in triplicate, which basically says, yes, ma'am, there's enough silver nitrate under this building to start a jewelry business, or trigger mandatory remediation at state expense. And, oh, and those mercury traces? Yeah, might want to check with DEP before you do anything. And he drops that bombshell, then vanishes back into whatever swamp consultants live in. And suddenly, this 180K bargain property has become the money pit starring me, as Tom Hanks screaming at holes in the floor. And my mom calls crying, because she heard from her friend Barb, who heard from her friend at Zumba, that the city is gonna bulldoze your new place. Thanks, Mom. And meanwhile, Gary keeps leaving voicemails promising me discounted custom framing if I'll just stop digging into old records. And this is peak Flopida, a local real estate investor named Rick shows up at my job, like literally walks into my cubicle waving cashier's checks. And I hear you're thinking of bailing on Photo Express? Let's talk numbers, I love fixer-uppers. And his shirt is open 2 buttons too many. His cologne arrives before he does. He actually winks at my boss while offering me an off-market solution. And do I sell him my contract? Do I hang on to this hot mess hoping for some miracle? Or do I run screaming into traffic? And of course, by now Samantha has turned into pure chaos agent mode. And here's what we do, she whispers over nachos one night. We flip Rick the rights for double earnest money and make him sign an NDA so nobody blames us when he digs up Chernobyl under Main Street. And Lee votes for burning it all down, figuratively, while Gary keeps texting puppy memes trying to win back favor, or maybe distract me from suing him. And meanwhile, half the neighborhood thinks I'm secretly working for Big Chemical. People cross the street when they see me coming. Mrs. Patel next door leaves pamphlets about groundwater safety taped to my mailbox every morning for 2 weeks straight. And then, the city inspector calls me directly. And we've received complaints regarding potential hazardous waste violations at 215 Main St. That's Photo Express. And apparently Mr. Evans filed 3 reports claiming chemical dumping and illegal use as a cannabis grow lab. What? Even though I haven't signed anything yet. And Inspector Torres wants access ASAP. Samantha starts hyperventilating. Doug texts cryptically, don't let them dig without legal counsel present. Like, what does that mean? And at this point, my dreams are melting faster than ice cream on Flagler Beach in July. And yet, I can't stop obsessing over what could be buried under those floors. Is there treasure, bodies, unreleased Taylor Swift negatives, or just enough poison sludge to bankrupt anyone dumb enough to sign papers? And by now, Rick ups his offer again. Let me deal with City Hall. I know people. Gary threatens to sue everyone. Defamation. HOA Evans posts passive-aggressive memes on Nextdoor. Some people shouldn't play with hazardous waste. And my mother schedules a prayer circle for deliverance. And even Samantha is losing hope. And, gotta walk away, babe. It's not worth your sanity or your savings. She offers tequila shots as therapy, but nothing dulls this headache except maybe full on amnesia. NBUT then, we find something nobody expected. And Samantha, being nosy, sneaks into county records online looking for past permits and discovers there was remediation work done 10 years ago. There are scanned documents showing someone hired Cleantech Environmental Solutions LLC, fancy, who supposedly dug test pits out back and installed vapor barriers inside. But get this, the final sign off was stamped by none other than Inspector Torres himself. And the same guy harassing us now. And what if Torres forgot, or worse, is covering up something big? And we print everything out and drive straight to City Hall ready for battle. Torres looks rattled when we show him copies of his own signature on those forms. And that was before stricter standards. He huffs, but then admits none of their recent tests showed active contamination above state limits anyway. And so why all the drama? Why did Doug find mercury traces? Why did Gary lie about cleaning up? And Samantha smells conspiracy. Lee thinks Torres wants hush money. Rick starts texting me blurry photos of himself outside City Hall, ready when you are. Even Mrs. Patel stops taping pamphlets once word leaks out that maybe there is no scandal after all, or is there? And because then, I get an anonymous letter slipped under my windshield one night after yoga class, and if you value your health, stay away from Photo Express. The truth isn't buried as deep as you think. No signature, just photocopied clippings about missing persons cases from 1998, the year Gary took over operations. And girl, I haven't slept since. And is this place cursed, haunted, a secret chemical dump, or something much darker? In A's of today, the deal's still pending. Rick keeps raising bids, Doug won't return calls, Torres avoids eye contact when he sees me downtown. Gary has gone radio silent except for one last text, and it was never about photos. And WHAT does that even mean? Stay tuned because if anyone finds bones or gold or both, you'll hear it here first.